Hello and welcome to the Enduro World Series show, the show that brings you the inside line on the very best action from all the EWS racing. We're here at the base of the Haute Pyrenees in the small ski village of Loudenvielle at the Pyrenees Bike Festival for the final race of the 2022 season. High stakes, injuries and rapidly declining weather. It really has it all to play for. But before we get into that, let's take a look at what it takes to win an EWS overall title. This year, the Enduro World Series season has offered riders 8 opportunities to win a race. You win the race and you're the winner on that day, an impressive achievement in itself. To win the overall series, on the other hand, well, that's a whole other ballgame. By the end of the 2022 season, a racer will have tackled 44 stages, descended 19,253 metres and been against the clock for over 124 kilometres of trail. Usually for it all to come down to a matter of points at the final race. So how do you actually become an overall champion? Consistency, talent, experience, maybe even a bit of luck.
I think it's consistency, the key, being able to understand that even without winning each race, you can still win the title. So I think, it's to accept looking at the overall more than to winning races.
Battling in a multitude of weather conditions, fending off mechanicals and riding through adversity is all part of being consistent and staying at the sharp end of racing. In the women's field, Isabeau Courdurier ran away with the show, taking half the wins of the 2022 season. Coming into Loudenvielle, the Lapierre Zip Collective rider had a comfortable 570 points over Morgan Schauer. The men's field saw 2 riders edge away from the competition. Leading into the finale of the year, both Jesse Melamed and Richie Rude had won 3 races each, with Jesse only missing the podium at 1 race, compared to Richie's 3 missed podiums. Melamed edged forward by 495 points.
I've had a lot of good races this year, and I've had 2 to 3 bad ones, and that's what's really killed my chances.
The deciding round wouldn't be a finale though without some drama. Huge crashes leading to injuries at previous rounds for both of the top spot contenders has meant that the race here in Loudenvielle is set to be full of fireworks with it all to play for. It really has been an explosive season filled with drama, chaos and tight battles. One person that's really been through the highs and lows of racing with an overall series win last year, followed up with lingering injuries and a slow start to this year, is the Canyon Collective rider Jack Moir. We snuck in behind the scenes with the Aussie rider to see what goes into a race weekend and, more importantly, just what happens in Kev's kitchen.
I'm Jack Moir. I ride for the Canyon Collective. And what I like to do for fun. Best teammates ever. Party Boy and Mr. Bomber. Party Boy loves to dance. And Mr. Bomber, he is a reptile, aka a lizard man. He'll sit in the sun all day. We have a good time.
I crashed last Sunday in Crans-Montana, last stage, and I have a bit conclusion. Try to help all the staff, all the riders, massage, coaching, everything I can do. To the top, let's go. Brian, boom, boom!
Yeah, that's Party Boy drive, June buggy drive.
And I'm like walking around and discussing with each other, and he's like,
Ciao, bello, ciao, allora!
We the top 10, UGK to make your way, not play.
Yeah, we got a new transition.
Traffic lights, we going notice.
Give us a pep talk, Mr. Bomber.
Now if you want, you can do warm up. You like that? Yeah. Like that? I like that chair. Do warm up?
Hey, listen to the coach. This is the Party Boy move.
Yeah. Thank you, coach. Yeah, bro.
Cheers, coach.
Yeah, boy. Send it.
See you later.
Okay, let's go.
Trails look good again. Might be a bit wet on the weekend for racing, so we haven't had a mudder all year. Could be interesting.
Yeah. What is that, bro? What do you reckon, Party Boy? Is that the most Euro thing you've seen today or this year?
This year. This is forbidden.
Yeah, this is forbidden. That's illegal in our pits. I wanted to make a YouTube channel for a couple years. Me, Mr. Bomber, Party Boy, and whatever our other characters come riding with us. But I've been filming, editing, everything. It's a big job. Yeah, I don't mess around. And I've already edited my video from today. Bro, that thing is hot. That thing is straight flames, bro. Tracks are sick, so I'm excited to get loose on those. Get dressed, go up, do a cheeky warm-up. Coach will be up there. Dance moves, squats, leg swing.
I'll be there, don't worry.
Okay. Well, I swung off it today and it didn't work out, like I said, so maybe I can't be swinging that hard. I actually did hear Richie talking about that section before I started, because he said
the one with the rock drop's a bit rough after.
And I was like, but I didn't think it was just going to be death routes to nothing.
D'ici quelques instants, avant de retrouver Richie Rude et Jesse Melamed.
Mr. Legs.
Either or.
No, Mr. Legs. No more Kev.
What's wrong with Kev?
No, you don't. It's not possible with two.
Yeah, you are Lizard Man and Mr. Bomber. Like you're the king of having two names.
You is like Mr. Legs and Jack Moir.
Kev's Kitchen, you know, I like cooking up in Kev's Kitchen.
Salmon.
Yeah.
We have crème fraîche.
Oh, crème fraîche.
And potato like for the puree.
We don't have a very good kitchen here, so haven't been doing much. But if we're just cruising, training camp or something, me and Party Boy like mixing it up.
Yeah, I'm good. Still fresh yesterday, but thank you.
Who's Ben? My mechanic, he's a mad dog. Ben 10, wheels. Nah, he's super dog, really good with everything. Shout out to my boy Ben.
It was fun, but I told myself I wasn't going to crash that, and I just crashed 3 times on the first. Well, it was off my bike at 3 points. The tactic was to not crash today, but that did not work out, and pretty disappointing because I didn't feel like I was riding that fast. It was just so tricky. Yeah, I kind of cooked that, but ended up in 3rd and 4th overall, so year done. We'll let loose, have a few cheeky ones with the crew.
Hey Party Boy, give us an ending to the video.
Great to see last year's series champion finding his form towards the end of this one. Now it is time to hand you over to my esteemed colleague, known across the world for his soothing tones and gentle manner. Josh Carlson of the Giant Factory Off-Road team is here to talk us through how the final EWS of 2022 unfolded. This is what went down at EWS Loudenvielle.
Thanks, Rick. What a day to finish up the 2022 Enduro World Series here in Loudenvielle. We've had a couple of fantastic performances. Morgan Shah come through with the #1 place, and she's won the last round of the season. Fellow Frenchman Alex Rideau finished with his first ever EWS victory here in Loudenvielle in some of the most challenging conditions we've seen all year. Isabeau Courdurier wrapped up the 2022 World Championship along with Jessie Melamed. Now, these athletes, they did not have it handed to them. They had to earn their stripes this year. It was a massive battle all the way to the line, and it was theirs to lose. But they came through on top. They both won their respective categories, and they are now crowned the 2022 Enduro World Series champions. We're joined now with Charlie Murray. You've had a fantastic day, mate. You finished the day in 4th overall with a Queen Stage victory. How did that feel?
Oh, that was amazing, yeah. The Queen Stage victory was the icing on top, you know. Really happy to do that one, and just finding that flow where you know, it's just almost easy and everything works.
What was the hardest part today? I mean, it was super treacherous up there. Stage 2 was claiming bodies left, right and centre. Stage 3 was the monster, which you won. Do you prefer that long stage, or what was the hardest part to get through today's racing?
I think the hardest stages were stage 2 and the pro stage, stage 6 as well. Those two stages, 2 and 6, were really difficult, just slippery, roots everywhere, and changing all the time. So we run it in practice, and it was a different track.
How different was it? I mean, that was diabolical up there today to see the roots and the lines. Compared to practice Friday afternoon, was it a complete change?
Yeah, it was. I mean, we were riding up this morning, and I think it was Eddie or someone said, "Oh, there's no roots on stage 2." And then I think
so it's Eddie's fault.
And then Richie said, well, there wasn't roots on stage 2. And we got there, it's just a bit of roots, the dirt was gone.
Right, we're up here on stage 3. The cowbells are going and the crowd's getting excited. The rides have already had one stage here today. Stage 2 was diabolically slippery and wet. Rudy, nightmare.
I'm relieved I made it down. It was completely sketchy.
Carnage. Absolutely carnage.
It's so slippy, and you're just sliding into things and onto lines that you didn't do in practice.
I told myself I wasn't going to crash that, and I just crashed 3 times on the first. Well, it was off my bike at 3 points.
Really tricky. Worse than yesterday.
Broken wheels, broken riders, broken egos. It was all happening on stage 2. Stage 3 looks like it's drying out quite a lot. It's not raining, it's not sunny, but we're not mad about it. So holes are developing, roots are coming out. The changing conditions is going to be a big factor in today's race here for the final round of the EWS. Longest stage of the weekend here, the Queen Stage. It's over 800 metres vertical drop from top to bottom. So this is a monster for this weekend. Even if riders do make a mistake, you've got to push all the way to the bottom and make up for it, because there's plenty of time to be made. So speaking of changing conditions, look at this. We've got nice, soft, loamy dirt here and a nice big rut forming, but look at all these roots coming into it. These are going to be diabolical for these riders to navigate. As they come across the hill, they're probably not used to all this high line here, but as they come down the hill, they'll be playing it live, trying to carry good speed into the exit and take advantage of this actually really good dirt. This is delicious. Look at it. As it gets slipperier and slipperier up here, riders are going to have a big challenge of setting up tyres. As we chatted to Jack yesterday, he's contemplating putting on some spikes for the morning, and then in the midday break, he might change to some drier tyres. Now, with this changing conditions, the roots and rocks are slippery, but the dirt's getting deeper and loamier. So the slippery dirt, spikes might be good in some sections, but it's going to be a compromise in others. So we'll see how they go towards the end of the day, but I reckon spikes this morning, especially for stage 2, would have been the hot tip. As the day gets drier, as it gets faster, we'll see the riders going to a more low-profile tyre, a little bit faster rolling, a little bit more aggressive braking edge as the day dries out. Let's see how the riders got on here at the last round of the Enduro World Series.
Conditions were very difficult to read. You never knew if it was going to be slippery or not, but it was kind of wild on some sections, especially the last one. So I was kind of riding a bit too tense, but I'm honestly super happy about my weekend and to finish the season like that.
Even on the first stage of the day, the stage 2, it was really slippery, muddy. So yeah, the rain take its part on the race, and it was good for me, as you see. So no, I'm happy with it. I really like when it's muddy and a little bit sketchy, so yeah, that's good.
I rode slow and steady like I did yesterday, and for some of the stages that were really tricky, that was really good, and some they were it was slower, but that's just all I had to do. I just had to get through the day clean.
It was quite hard to predict because in some sections it was riding really well and some other were like hard pack and like ice. So yeah, it was it took me a bit of time to like get into it, but then after a while I felt like really good and had a lot of fun.
Stage 2 was pretty wet and I thought the whole day was going to be like that, and the rest of the day was actually a lot better, and I chose to stay with dry tires just because we weren't sure, and I thought I made the wrong call, but I guess I did well on 2, and then the rest of the day, like the stages were actually a lot better, like traction-wise, so that was good. And
Alex Rideau won today on flat pedals. Sam Hill put in a fantastic performance, a vintage Sam Hill performance here. Do you think those flat pedals play to their advantage here with the tricky, slippery corners?
I think so. I mean, if you're accustomed to riding them, then you're going to be in an advantage, but there's also all the pedaling. Like we had a lot of pedaling in the stages today.
Yeah.
But then again, if they're hitting corners faster and not having to brake,
they're
going to be not having to pedal coming out of the corners.
Yeah.
So it's a trade-off, but I think definitely like what I was saying, you know, stage 2, the pro stage, those sort of stages on flat pedals would have been great because I was unclipping more time than I was clipped in. You saw it with Rideau, like he's just he's committed.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about anything apart from the corner in front of him, which is how you have to ride today when it's so unpredictable.
Jesse Melamed had the championship on the line, and we just mentioned it was his to lose, and Isabeau. Do you think that would have been playing on their mind today with the wet, with the rocks, with the roots? Do you reckon that was on their mind?
I don't know. I was riding around with Jesse today and he was like surprisingly calm. I was very impressed because if I was in his position, I would have been freaking out. One little slip offline, you know, you hit your mech into a tree or you hit your tyre into a rock and pop it.
Yep.
He had to finish
so easy to do.
He had to finish kind of top 67 or top 60, whatever.
Yep.
And I mean, a flat tyre or a broken mech, that could slip away pretty quickly.
Well, look at Sam. It took him out of the race with a flat front tyre, and Ewan Deneu, he was right up there with a chance for a podium, and he mechanicaled on the last stage and finished 5th right behind yourself. So it's definitely a stressful scenario. Charlie, huge day. Who are your two standout performances that you liked for today's last round of the year?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think for me, it was a real surprise. Well, not a surprise. I mean, we're in France, we're in the Pyrenees, but just to see the caliber of French riders in the top 10, it was just littered with French flags when you went down the results.
True story.
And this season, I mean, the English-speaking riders have been
the Southern Hemisphere Kiwis
have been punching above their weight.
Yep.
And then we come back to France, and the Frenchies are just basically, well, they're unbeatable, literally. Alex Rideau won. So the French boys were on fire today. And in the women, I was really impressed with Noga. Like, she's had a tough season. She's had some good results and some not so good results. But today, she doesn't give up, and she's got that grit, and it paid off for her in 4th place.
And she had a huge battle with Melanie. I think Melanie really impressed me today. She's had a big battle. She had a massive crash in Scotland, which may have affected her a little bit more than we know. But to come back for a podium in France, it's a huge result. And in the men's, yourself, I'm really impressed with how you rode, and my teammate Ewan Deneu. I mean, he had a lot of pressure on him this weekend. He's been riding really well the last couple of rounds, but for him to hold it together for 5th overall with a slight mechanical and a couple of crashes, I'm pretty happy with how that young fella performed, and I'm excited for see how he goes into next season.
Definitely.
So he'll be doing big things. Charlie Murray will be doing big things.
Hopefully.
Ready for a big season. Big season in 2023. Back to you, Rick.
Enduro bikes have come a very long way since their inception in the early 2000s. The bikes at the top truly are the pinnacle of the sport, hosting all sorts of prototype parts and secret tech to make the racers as fast as they can be. We caught up with overall series winner Isabeau Courdurier and Jesse Melamed to go through the finer details of their race machines.
Hey, welcome to France. My name is Jesse Melamed, part of the Rocky Mountain Race Face Enduro team. We've got my Rocky Mountain altitude here. It's running a size medium. We have a bunch of different things we can change. I got it in the ride 9 position 3, which kind of shortens it a little bit, adds some travel. I do have an angle set in to shorten it as well, to slacken it out. I don't think there's much secret on here anymore. We got the new rad shock, that's secret. Some special stuff going in there that I can't really talk about, but it's been working out pretty well for me this year. Fox 38 up front. We got 170 mils in the fork and 160 mils in the shock. Full Shimano group set for this, so Shimano drivetrain. I run the smaller cassette just for like less chain wrap, less chain rattle. Full XGR there, XGR 4-piston brakes. I run 1 pad material of each, just running the metallic pads. They had a lot of bite on them, so I'd come into corners and kind of lock up more than I wanted. So we experimented with 1 metallic, 1 resin, and I feel like a bit of that's gone away. I lose a little bit of power, I think, but it just allows me, the way that I corner is just kind of like I like to brake check and kind of skid myself around, but not totally lose my back end. So it seemed once I made the change, it was seamless. I had a crash at the last round, unfortunately, and these handguards did a lot to save my hand from anything worse. So those are pretty sweet as well. Maxxis tires, Ascot up front, DHI2 in the back is kind of my go-to setup.
Hello, my name is Isabeau Courdurier and I'm riding for the Lapierre Zip Collective, and this is my Lapierre Spicy. It's a custom color, but it's a normal size small. I'm running it with some Zip carbon wheel, the 3.0 Moto. I'm on Hutchinson tires. I'm not running anything crazy as a bike setup, but I'm quite a small and lightweight rider, so suspension tuning for me is very important. And I'm running the RockShox Zeb on front and the all-new coil at the back. I run 1 token and 42 psi in my fork, and my coil shock is 275. Depending on the race, I might go to an air shock rather than the coil if it's quite physical and I need a lighter bike. And other than that, I'm not changing a lot of stuff. If I get to change very major setting on my bike, it means we are getting to have wild conditions. So for drivetrain, I'm running on the IXS SRAM. I'm running a 34 gear at the front and a very big 52 cassette at the back. There are no particular secret bits, but what I like on my frame is that we have a storage underneath to put a tube, and it makes it very easier to carry. For me, the key to a fast enduro bike is to have a bike that can endure everything you want to throw at it. So basically, strong casing tires, very big and well-tuned suspension, and I will always say, choose what you know is gonna last the entire race.
It truly has been an amazing season full of twists and turns. We've crowned 2 champions that have seen their fair share of trials and tribulations. This is not quite the end of the season, however, for the racers. We do go next to the birthplace of Enduro, Finale Ligure in Italy, for the Bluegrass Trophy of Nations, where free riders from each country compete on the same stage at the same time and do battle to be crowned the best country in the world. But for now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in Italy.